Can Sam Wilson's Captain America be saved? You see, that is a question I've been pondering for quite some time now because the way that I make my videos, I come up with the ideas, of course, first and foremost, and then I start bringing the ideas and some of the basic premises and points to different people in my life, whether it be my friends, family members, even my coworkers. And the question I kept on getting asked after I revealed all these problems with these different characters is, can these characters be saved? They have so many major problems, structural problems. Can they even be restored, not just to their former glory, but also can they even be upgraded to A-list status in the first place? And I think that's a very interesting question because I must admit, at first my answer was always this knee-jerk yes. Of course they can be saved. Of course they can be restored. Of course they can be, upgraded, leveled up, elevated to A-list status. But now that I've been thinking about it a little bit more and actually delving deep into the question, I wonder if that's completely true. I think it's a very interesting thing because ultimately speaking, when you talk about saving the character, what do you even mean by that? What steps would have to be taken to even save a character like Sam Wilson, who's had such a terrible, awful run as Captain America? What could you do to make him an A-list character once again? And conversely, on the other side of it, if he is truly beyond saving, if there's nothing you can do to possibly bring him back into the fold, not only to restore him to his former glory as a beloved character, but also bring him into that A-list status, that you need for Captain America, not wannabe, but the Captain America successor to be, then that also is going to be incredibly, a big problem. If you can't actually salvage the character, what do you do with an unsalvageable character? And the answers to both those questions, again, were first pretty murky, but after doing some thinking about it, I have an answers for both of them, and that's what we're going to get into in this episode, what may be the very last episode of Black Tiger Talks. Welcome back, Tiger Back. It's your boy Black Tiger Talks, back with another video. And in this video, we're going to talk about whether or not Sam Wilson's Captain America run can be saved. If yes, then what does that even look like? And if no, what do you do with a character that is unsalvageable? And starting first with the no option, what do you do with that, again, unsalvageable character? Well, there's only one viable option you can actually take with this. Now, notice I said viable option. There's only one option that actually makes sense. There are two options that are utterly terrible, one of which it seems like they're actually going with because that's how Marvel is. And starting with one of the worst options, which is the one that they currently seem to be going on, is just letting him fade into obscurity. And that's a terrible thing for a successor of Captain America to ever do, because again, Captain America as a concept, such an important concept, such an important legacy within the actual universe itself and with outside the universe amongst the audience itself. So the idea of taking a character like Captain America, letting him fall into obscurity, letting him fall from being the main stage, letting him not be an A-list character, but letting him fall to B-list and even C-list status is just utterly terrible idea. But yet that's what they seem to be doing by not putting him in any movies and TV shows that often, giving him these small little moments, not letting him actually show himself as an A-tier character. It seems like they're letting him fall into obscurity, which again is an option that you don't want to take. The second option is to simply do what they did with Steve Rogers to a certain extent, just have him retire. And of course, even retirement, you only have two options when it comes to retirement. You have the option of he just decides to go do bigger and better things, decides to maybe build a family, whatever. And then you have the other option of him just, getting hurt so grievously that he can't continue being Captain America and gives it off to someone else, finds a successor, all that type of thing. And both those options don't really work for Sam Wilson's Captain America. First and foremost, for the option of him just, giving it up and going somewhere else because he wants, build a family or whatever that is, That's a terrible thing because first of all, we didn't even see a family that he's even trying to build. It worked for Captain America Steve Rogers because he had the option of Peggy Carter. Sam Wilson doesn't even have a character that he could even go with. He doesn't have a love interest in the first place. The idea of making him leave being Captain America for a love interest for anything else outside of being Captain America is kind of already pretty terrible. It would be a terrible end to this tenure as Captain America, just a terrible capstone on an already terrible career. But the second option of him, instead of it just being an idea of him giving up it like that, him being injured on the line of duty and having to give it up, even that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because when it comes to a grievous injury, type of thing where it forces the superhero into retirement, especially the superhero of Captain America level, what you have to do is have that character first be, a big actual thing. Spoilers for, My Hero Academia, but when it comes to a character like All Might, he gets forced into retirement thanks to his own grievous injuries and his own powers starting not to really work. And everyone can tell and see that that's a big moment because All Might was such a massive character within the overall universe. Meanwhile, Sam has done nothing, as I kind of went over in my last couple of videos. Sam has done nothing that makes him worthy of that type of major send-off, even if he's grievously injured. Again, it would just be another lackluster capstone on a terrible Captain America career. So ultimately speaking, you can't just have him simply go away. You can't have him simply retire. That leaves only one real option really left. And even this option is one you have to be very careful with what you're doing with it. That final option, of course, is the idea of simply killing him off. Now, again, you have to be careful in what you want to do when it comes to killing a character like Captain America off, because even though, Sam Wilson himself, within certain parts of the universe, along with just the general universe, it seems like itself in Phase 4, they don't seem to respect the title of Captain America. They don't respect the legacy of the shield or the shield itself, everything that it symbolizes. They don't seem to have much respect for it. You must remember that us, the audience, us, the fans, us, in this case, the writers, we actually respect what Captain America is, the title, the symbolism, the suit, the shield. We respect all of that. And thus, even though Sam is the current recipient of all that legacy, of all that history, even though within the storyline he doesn't seem to respect it very much, we do. And thus, since he's the recipient of all that, he deserves an end worthy of Captain America. If you're going to kill off Sam Wilson as Captain America, you have to give him an end worthy of all that history. So you can't just kill him off on the side, have him die off screen. You can't give him a side character death, he just dies just randomly. And for shock value, kind of like they did with Taskmaster, to kind of kick that character out into the road. And that would be awful. This is a character that already got a movie. This is a character that was supposed to be one of the pillars of your next phase. If you decide that you can't salvage it, you have to make their death a big moment. And the only two options you really have when it comes to making the death a big moment is, one, you have to kill off the character early on in a movie, make it the entirety of the movie is based around either who killed Captain America, or just, it's a massive moment, similar to when Thanos beat up the Hulk and killed Loki. It becomes a big, emphasis statement. It's shot well, it's done well. Even if it's not like that, another good example of, even though it's not in the beginning of the movie, it's at the middle point, but this can also still work for Sam Wilson to do a death like Gamora's death or Black Widow's death in Infinity War and Endgame respectively. Big, massive, emotional moments that kind of really make the little downturn of the movie. How the movie is rising up. You get a nice little point when the heroes are at their lowest. That would be when Sam Wilson dies, right before that whole situation. So that's one idea you can do with it. And the final one, of course, is the final epic last stand one, the Iron Man one, the final emotional capstone of the entire movie idea, which you could do with Sam Wilson. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to do it. After all, the entire movie has to kind of build him up to be worthy of that moment. But again, for a character like Captain America, I think that that's actually a fair thing to have him die at the very end of the movie in one of these big, massive emotional moments. Again, Iron Man from Endgame, Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy. I think those all kind of work as final big emotional moments, and that's how you would kill off a character like Sam Wilson's Captain America. That's the most ideal way you could possibly get it done, so that even if he had a terrible career, at the very least he'd have a solid, again, emotional capstone at the very end of this, terrible career. At the very least, you could say the end was great, even if the middle of the beginning were absolutely terrible. That would be the idea that you would kind of put in there when it comes to using that Captain America and his death. That said,
while it is true that that's one option that we can take, again, if the character is unsalvageable, we haven't answered the other question, that if the character is salvageable, if we can save them, what does saving him even really look like?
I must say that despite, of course, the question being asked to me multiple times, despite even exploring the idea of no, I do believe the answer to whether or not Captain America or Sam Wilson's Captain America can be saved is a definite yes. I think you can salvage this character, most certainly. And I think that one of the best evidences of this idea of salvaging him is actually Steve Rogers himself. You see, when you go back and actually look at the reaction to Steve Rogers as Captain America early on, you actually find that when it comes to at least the MCU, he wasn't really that well respected. The first movie was just all right for most people, even though it was one of my favorite movies. A lot of people just thought it was all right. And the same thing goes for his Avengers appearance. He wasn't really respected until Captain America Winter Soldier, which is where they made him an absolute, awesome action hero. He was actually finally a really competent as a Captain America, as a superhero, as a martial artist, all these different things. They made him out to be that guy within that movie. And I think that kind of shows that you could do the same thing for Sam. You just have to make him out to be that guy. And as I talked about in my last video, talking about, again, Sam Wilson, Sam was never pushed to be that guy. When you look at his fight scenes before, this movie, before he became Captain America, they were pretty bad, ultimately speaking. And I don't mean as far as they were badly shot or anything like that. I mean as far as his actual win record. He usually lost and got dominated by basically every single named character he ran into. He really didn't win a single actual fight. He lost to Ant-Man, he lost to Crossbones, he lost to like random dudes. Like, this dude was not super high level before being Captain America. He wasn't really pushed like that. Meanwhile, again, look at Captain America within the Winter Soldier, and you look at the way he did his fights in there, he's actually portrayed as the guy. Again, compare him to, say, Falcon, even as Captain America, where he's gone from there, you see a massive difference. Again, good old Sam barely beat Batroc the Leaper while fully kitted out and trying his absolute hardest. He barely even beats Batroc the Leaper, a guy who, again, OG Captain America, Steve Rogers, beat very, very easily, even after defeating an entire boat full of terrorists and nerfing himself by letting go of his shield and even taking off protection from with his helmet. So he still defeated Batroc, but despite nerfing himself heavily, and he did it with utter ease while Sam struggles. Keep going, you go to the Flag Smashers, Super Soldiers. Sam has significant trouble versus those guys, to even getting dominated multiple times throughout the fight. It's pretty bad altogether. He looks like an absolute bum versus some actual Super Soldiers. Meanwhile, you take Captain America, Steve Rogers, OG Cap. He comes in there, and not only does he beat Bucky and get the better of Bucky in both of his encounters, but he even takes on someone like Black Panther and gives him a significant amount of trouble and defeats him in most of his encounters. So that's a big difference already. Good old Sam, even inside of his movie Brave New World, struggles to beat just a random big guy merc. A random big guy merc gave him a significant amount of trouble, busting his ribs. So you have a guy who's, again, can struggle versus a big merc fellow. Meanwhile, OG Captain America, just Winter Soldier by the way, defeating an entire elevator full of big guy mercs. Utter ease, that's the difference. You see how Captain America was pushed in that movie to be that guy, while Sam is losing to everyone. Of course he's not that guy. No one's gonna believe he's that guy. So when he comes to fight a character again like Red Hulk, we all knew he's gonna not win that fight. There's no way he's gonna get any type of advantage in that fight, because again, he can barely beat low tier guys like we've already seen, like Batroc, and again, even as before when he was Falcon, he could barely beat Crossbones. Why do you think he's going to be able to take on someone like Red Hulk? Meanwhile, Thanos, and Captain America taking on Thanos, it's a much, even though we knew that Captain America is going to lose the fight, it doesn't make him lose any horror because he's already beat almost everyone else near his level. I mean, one last bit to really go over, good old Sam barely beat John Walker with Bucky. 2v1 with Bucky versus John Walker, barely wins. Meanwhile, Captain America not only did he beat Spider-Man pretty handily, on top of beating Spider-Man pretty handily, he took on a 2v1 of War Machine and Black Panther versus him. He took that 2v1 and basically had the advantage in that entire fight. On top of having advantage in that fight like that, you have him clutching his own 2v1 when it was him and Bucky versus Iron Man, winning versus a much superior opponent. So ultimately speaking, Sam has not been pushed like that at all. And Sam needs a better track record of actually winning fights in the future, which we can again start with his future movies.
But that's just one of the many problems with Sam after all. He's a side character first and foremost. He doesn't have a bunch of, side characters that are with him. For example, he doesn't have a bunch of side characters himself. He doesn't have a main villain. All those things can be solved, and I'll talk about that in a future video, how you can solve giving him a villain, giving him a love interest, giving him all these things. But right now I want to focus on one element that always gets kind of ignored when it comes to him, which is his actual power set. His power set and moveset are terrible in comparison to being a main character. Again, when it comes to main characters, they usually are portrayed really differently than a side character. His abilities right now are this, vibranium thing, which is already bad because vibranium is kind of a Black Panther Wakandan coded attack and moveset, which again kind of really breeds a lot of confusion around the character. We want to remove that if we can. And then he has the drones, these red wing drones that are with him, which again are fine for a side character, but main characters need more than that. Need to be more punch-based powers, typically speaking. Again, look at Captain America, OG Captain America, Steve Rogers. He has a shield that can throw back and forth, indestructible, can block any attack, and he has his fist, and that's it. Martial arts fist, send him out there, he's ready to go. The same thing goes for other universes as well. If you look at, say, good old All Might from the My Hero Academia universe, you see the same exact thing. Punchy based powers. He punches things. He kicks things. That's literally it. Nothing more to be done with that. Keep going even further to other characters from other universes like Superman. That's what he does, punches and kicks. Invincible universe, punches and kicks. That's a very common thing. Even within the Marvel universe itself, the biggest characters prior to the MCU were characters like Hulk, who again punches, kicks. Spider-Man punches, kicks, webs, a little bit, extra thing there, which most of these characters have something extra on top of punches and kicks, but punches and kicks make up the majority of their offense attacks, and that's something that Falcon doesn't have. Instead, they made this drone thing, which again is pretty stupid, or the wing slap thing, whatever he's doing there, also not very good, ultimately speaking. So, and then one last one I'll give is that the Jujutsu Kaisen. That's another great one, because the main character, that despite that having a universe full of crazy, insane powers, the main character can do what? Punch, kick. They're enhanced punches, they're enhanced kicks, but still punches, kicks. That's what most people tend to do when it comes to main characters. So when it comes to Sam, we have to give him punches and kicks that are actually worth something, because again, he didn't take the super soldier serum, which is again a very stupid decision, but we're not going to get into that today. We're not going to get into that at all. Regardless, we got to actually enhance his punches and kicks. And the thing is, you actually can do that within the story to make it actually something worth something. And what you can do is simply make sure that he is a bit more of a tech guy. He already was a bit of a tech guy beforehand, as far as he's able to tinker with his own suit. Again, it doesn't have to be Iron Man. It doesn't have to be that smart as far as making new technology, but he can probably just let him tinker and be able to upgrade already made technology. Like some technology that's already made, you can kind of upgrade it a little bit and tinker with it a little bit. And what I would have him tinker with is, funnily enough, a character that he already kind of knows and is not necessarily close to, has a relationship to, which is Crossbones. Crossbones is dead, of course, but he can take Crossbones' little, his little arm enhancements, those things that kind of made him, stronger, able to fight on super soldier level. Good old Sam can take those same, punch enhancement things and start using him himself and upgrade him to the point where he can actually now punch with some significant strength, and maybe even make some ones for his legs so that he can keep with significant strength, as well as take the massive impact of those superhero landings, so that instead of him landing with that superhero landing and making that whole shockwave thing he did within his movie, it actually makes a little bit more sense why his legs don't shatter on impact as soon as he hits the ground. So now you give him those better punches and kicks. Now you can actually do something when it comes to fights. Now, I wouldn't make it like crazy powerful, but it should be powerful enough that when the regular punch, he should be able to, knock a dude out with a single punch. He should be able to, punch someone like Hulk and actually give him some significant, not significant damage, but, make Hulk head turn, make him flinch, so on and so forth. And when he has a wing assisted, wing jet flying attack like a drop kick or a flying punch, he actually can send someone like Hulk, Thor, flying a small distance. I think that's a fair thing to do to make him actually powerful enough to actually have an impact on the overall universe. I think that's a big thing that has to be done in order to make him a viable character again, because this whole Red Wing thing is not going to work. But if you do that, you give him, so he has a better moveset, better power set, and on top of that, you give him some actual fight scenes where he's actually beating some guys, actually winning some battles. I think you can probably get him back in there. Now, you're going to need a good movie to do so, and I'll talk about that in a future video. But I think, again, just a good power set, better fight scenes, and part of it also has to be a better suit, but that's neither here nor there. Those things will do a long way in actually making him a much better character, much better Captain America, a character that we can actually respect again, because right now he simply isn't even competent as Captain America. Making him competent, making him cool again
would go a long way into actually making him more respected as Captain America. But that's just my thoughts. What are your guys' thoughts? You know, do you agree that he can be saved? Do you think he can't be saved at all and he's just unsalvageable, needs to be destroyed, needs to be killed off, or needs to be just simply thrown into obscurity, needs to retire? Whatever one you think, you know, comment down below your thoughts, like the video, share the video, all that different YouTube stuff. And I'll cut it here and stop rambling. But, you know, of course, I'll see you guys in the video whenever you guys got time. And until then, stay ferocious, Tiger Pack.
If we hold on.